Today I'm going to be making this recipe. I believe it comes from Great Granny. I don't know, doesn't matter, because I think that everybody should be able to make good food and have good recipes. So I will be making this recipe today. And so here I have the ingredients. I got flour. If this runs out, I got this one. Baking soda, salt, shortening. I got Crisco. You could use lard also, or whatever. White sugar. I'm just using powdered sugar for that, but it should turn out the same. Brown sugar, eggs. This is representing water. I've got water in this cup, but I'm just going to be using hot water from the tap for that. I got chopped nuts. This is left over from the other recipe that I made. Chocolate chips, oats, and some vanilla. And there we go. We got all the ingredients ready. Now the shortening's easy. I still got that same pan, you can see. The shortening's easy because each stick is a cup of shortening. So when I get this out, we get it unwrapped and then dump it in the mixing pan. That's what I'm gonna call this, mixing pan. Hua. And I know the ingredients are not listed in order. It says cream, fats, and sugar together first, but I'm gonna do the white sugar first and then the brown sugar because powdered sugar is easier to cream by hand with a fork because I don't have an electric mixer. So let's measure that out right quick. I got it measured out. Now time to dump it in. And time to cream it together with the fork. I believe Crisco is softer than butter, though that might just because I'm putting it in room temperature and storing the butter in the refrigerator. Got that creamed together, you can see. So time to move on to the brown sugar. I got light brown. I think dark brown's actually better, but I got light brown sugar and measure it out. Also, this is 3/4 cup by itself. You probably can't see the markings on the bottom though, but that's a 3/4 cup measuring cup. Also, unlike with a lot of measuring things, you want to compact the brown sugar pretty hard. Let's see. And it comes out like that, and I'm going to cream it in right quick. So now you can see I have the two most healthiest food groups, fat and sugar, combined. And next is going to be eggs, water, and vanilla. So, well, 2 eggs is easy enough, except they're all different sizes because it's farm fresh and not grated into basically eggs. Commercially that you buy at a regular store are graded into small, medium, large, extra large, whereas these are just whatever came out of the hen that particular day. Well, this one's smallish and this one's pretty big, so I'm going to use those two and I'm going to crack them into the mugs so I can beat them. Anyway, that really big egg still just had 1 yolk. This is just the yolk from the smaller egg. It's gotten broken a little bit, but that's okay because we're gonna beat them up anyways. And like I was talking before, I'm still using the same fork that I used to mix the other ingredients. So I'm gonna beat these better. I have this little measuring thing from cough syrup, and so I got hot water, and it's already hot because I let it run a little bit earlier. And 1 teaspoon is about 5 milliliters. So if I can, that's like 10 milliliters. That's 5 milliliters. And then I'll put vanilla up to 10 milliliters line. So I do have real vanilla, but look at the ingredients. Water, alcohol, and corn syrup first. But I think water and alcohol are part of, and then the alcohol will boil off in cooking, so it's not going to be, not that there's any significant amount left over anyways. So I'm going to pour it in there off camera because it's awkward to pour. So I finally got the vanilla poured on top of the water. The seal was being a pain to get open up. I tried yelling, FBI, open up. I tried talking to it about problems, but only stabbing it with pocket knife worked. But anyways, let's pour the eggs, vanilla, and warm water into the thing that I'm mixing everything in. And then I will stir it all in. So the recipe says add dry ingredients and then add chocolate chips and oatmeal, but I'm actually going to add the pecans with the chocolate chips and the oats. So first is going to be flour, which I need 1.5 cups of. I'm going to mix the dry ingredients in here. 1.5 cups of flour is first, 1 cup, and 1/2 cup. Makes 1.5 cups, doggone it. And the baking soda and the salt I am gonna eyeball. I'm gonna just put like in the palm of my hand to eyeball that 1 teaspoon of each. That's probably approximately a teaspoon. And I'm gonna do the same with the salt. Yeah, that's gonna be about a teaspoon. Throw that in there. And I'm gonna mix it up a little bit with this knife before I mix it all in with the rest of the stuff with the fork. That's fairly well mixed, and in it goes. And I'm gonna mix it in with the fork. That's all mixed in, so we have just the 3 course ingredients. That's what I'm gonna call them. This, I made the other recipe 3 times, and it calls for 1 cup each, and it's approximately 4 cups. So I'm just gonna dump probably most of it in there, and that'll be good. After all, this recipe isn't that specific. It's at 1/2 to 1 cup, so that'll be good. The chocolate chips are going to be even easier now that I've cut the package open. Except I cut it open, except I cut too much and they went everywhere. So there's a few extra ones over here, and over here, and over here. And I think that's all of them. Time to measure out 2 cups of oats. 1, 2. Oh, and I have to preheat it. Let's do that right quick so it's actually ready to go. And then I will combine all this stuff in. So this recipe is kind of the opposite of the first recipe, where this recipe gives you the time and temperature but not how to bake it, whereas the other recipe gave you what to bake it in but not the time and temperature. But that's easy because I know how to make cookies. You got a greased baking tray. This is greased. Good ways to grease a baking tray are rub a stick of butter on it or use some spray oil. I did not do either of those. Instead, I poured a little bit of canola oil and rubbed it over the surface with my finger. Great way to do that. And then to put it on there is pretty easy too. So this works better with 2 spoons, but I'm using 1 spoon, and the fork, you just get like a spoonful of the cookie dough and you just spoon it out onto the baking tray. Bang, bang, dang, dang. And so I'm going to do that. And if it sticks to the spoon, you just push it off with another spoon. Or what I'm going to do is probably with the fork or one of the knives. So apparently the camera on my phone kills battery very bad. So I got the cookies all out on a tray. And I still have raw cookie dough left over, which is good because that means I can eat some raw cookie dough, and that's really good. So now I'm going to go ahead and put these into the oven right quick. Luckily, I have an outlet near the oven, so these will go in. For 10 minutes. While that's baking in the oven, let's try something that's really tasty, but also a health risk because it contains raw eggs. Shift it over some, I think. Or does it shift the other way? I don't know. Oh, you can see it. Raw cookie dough is good. And there's one with oats in it too. Spoon. That's pretty good. That is tasty. The timer's about to go off. I checked them. They're definitely not done. I'm gonna move them to the upper rack actually, because they might be getting overdone on the bottom. Getting overdone on the bottoms and not done on the tops. Let's move them to the top rack and give them another like maybe 3 minutes. It is at 350 though, but yeah, 3 minutes. That extra 2 minutes is done. They still look not quite. They could probably use another minute or two, so I'm going to split the difference by doing 90-second timer. 90 seconds is a minute and a half or a minute and 30 seconds for anybody that's bad at math. Alright, that timer's going off. Let's check them. Yeah, maybe it helps if I take them out right quick. Maybe I need to poke them a bit. Probably not quite done just yet, unfortunately, because I just finished off the cookie dough. Man, that was another 90 seconds. I didn't show putting the timer, but got a little bit more done. Let's just go for like $1.99. The timer is going off back. And I looked a second ago, they are pretty done. Just grab them out. Put these up on here. Let them cool off for a little bit, of course. Actually, some of them look a little bit extra done, and some of them look, they didn't cook quite evenly. I'm not quite sure what that. Should have not cooked them at the bottom, maybe towards the middle or top of the oven. But again, this is one of those recipes that assumes you know how to cook. It's not one of those better homes and gardens recipes. But anyway, got these cookies, letting them cool for a little bit, and then we'll try them. Now let's get a couple, 3 of them out on our plate. This one I already pried up with the knife. This one came up real easy. Let's go over here. Let's have a few from different areas of the tray. That way we get a good representative sample of them, right? Well, that's plenty to try, right? That's that's plenty to eat, really. Alright, now it's time to actually eat some of these cookies. So I got one that's fairly light colored, and let's see how it tastes. That's still fairly caramelized on the bottom. I should have baked them on the top rack, or moved one of the racks closer to the middle, but it is what it is. Try this one, it's darker. Baked a little fairly dark, let's see how. Yeah, that's pretty good too. And it's fairly caramelized around it, so it is what it is, but it is pretty good.